Welcome back to the channel. Please take the time to subscribe. Thank you. Systemic racism in policing and the legal system, a deep dive into injustice. For centuries, Black communities have faced the unrelenting grip of injustice at the hands of systems meant to protect and serve. The reality of systemic racism in policing and the legal system isn't a recent revelation. It's a painful, historic truth that has been documented, protested, and survived by generations. What we're witnessing today, from viral videos of police brutality to the disproportionate incarceration of Black men and women, is not just the result of bad apples, it's the consequence of deeply embedded institutional racism. In this article, we break down the roots, the patterns, and the impact of systemic racism in law enforcement and the courts, and we explore the urgent need for reform and accountability. Understanding systemic racism. Systemic racism refers to the policies and practices entrenched in established institutions that result in the exclusion or promotion of designated groups. In the context of policing and the legal system, this means that Black people are disproportionately targeted, arrested, convicted, and punished compared to white individuals. This isn't just about individual prejudice, it's about an entire system built on inequity, operating under the guise of justice. A legacy of control from slavery to surveillance. The origins of racist policing in the United States can be traced directly to slave patrols, groups organized in the 1700s to capture and punish enslaved Africans who escaped plantations. After the abolition of slavery, these patrols morphed into modern police departments, especially in the South, evolving into instruments of racial control during the Jim Crow era. Today, this legacy continues in more covert but equally damaging ways. Over-policing in Black neighborhoods, racial profiling, and disproportionate use of force are all modern extensions of this history. Racial profiling and discriminatory policing practices. Black drivers are far more likely to be stopped and searched than white drivers, despite being less likely to possess illegal substances. The so-called stop and frisk policies, often defended as necessary crime prevention tools, have disproportionately targeted young Black men. Studies show that Black Americans are nearly 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white Americans. And yet, police officers involved in such killings rarely face consequences. The cases of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, and countless others underscore a haunting truth. For many in our community, a simple interaction with the police can turn fatal. The courtroom is no sanctuary. The injustice doesn't end on the streets, it follows Black individuals into the courtroom. Consider the following. Sentencing disparities. Black people often receive longer sentences than white people for committing the same crimes. Cash bail system. This system disproportionately punishes the poor, many of whom are Black, by keeping them in jail pretrial simply because they can't afford bail. Jury discrimination. Prosecutors have been found to intentionally exclude Black jurors, reducing the likelihood of fair trials. Public defenders. Many Black defendants are forced to rely on underfunded and overburdened public defenders, making effective legal representation a privilege, not a right. Mass incarceration, modern-day slavery. The U.S. has the highest incarceration rate in the world, and Black Americans make up about 33% of the prison population, despite only being around 13% of the total population. Policies like the war on drugs, mandatory minimums, and 3 strikes laws have fueled the mass incarceration of Black bodies, often for nonviolent offenses. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery except as punishment for a crime, which has led some to argue that the prison industrial complex is a continuation of slavery by another name. The psychological toll on the Black community. Living under constant surveillance and threat from the very people tasked with public safety takes a deep psychological toll. The fear, the grief, the trauma, it lingers. It's passed down from parents to children, embedded in warnings like, keep your hands visible, don't argue, comply first, survive later. These aren't just safety tips, they are survival instructions in a racist system. What does real change look like? Calls for reform are nothing new. What's needed now is transformative change, not just training, Not just body cameras, but systemic dismantling and rebuilding of law enforcement and the justice system. Solutions include ending qualified immunity so police can be held accountable, abolishing cash bail, mandating independent investigations into police violence, investing in community-based safety programs instead of militarized policing, electing district attorneys and judges committed to racial equity, federal oversight of local police departments with a history of abuse, the role of media and public awareness. Social media has been a powerful tool in exposing police violence and mobilizing public outrage. However, awareness must lead to sustained action. We must continue to tell the truth about these systems. We must educate, organize, and hold power to account. That's why platforms like this channel exist, to amplify what mainstream media often minimizes. Conclusion: the fight is far from over. The fight against systemic racism in policing and the legal system is a long and deeply personal one, but it's also a collective one. Every protest, every policy change, every conversation brings us a step closer to justice.